piece the other day that I thought was, actually yesterday, that I thought was absolutely so spot on. And Danny Goldberg wrote this. Danny is the author of numerous books, including It's a Free Country, Dispatches in the Culture Wars, How the Left Lost Teen Spirit, and Bumping into Geniuses. And he's also the president of Gold Village Entertainment and was the CEO of Air America Radio from 2005 until the mid-2006s. And I should disclose, Danny hired me there. And Danny, welcome to the program.
Oh, it's so nice to talk to you again, Tom.
Indeed, it's been a long time, and it's great to hear your voice. DannyGoldberg.com, by the way, the website. But to the point of your article, I thought this was brilliant because I was there, and I suspect you probably were too. I don't think we've ever had this conversation, but the headline of the article is "Don't Diss the Drum Circles: Why Hippie Culture is Still Important to Our Protests." And in the late 1960s, 67, 68, 69, in East Lansing, Michigan, I had hair down on my shoulders and smoked pot and was hanging out with the SDS group and showing up for the demonstrations and getting tear gassed in the streets. And I can tell you there was incredible tension because probably 3/4 of the SDS folks wanted to dress like young conservatives or something close to it, or more like the old socialists, roll up the sleeves but keep your hair short. And they thought that those of us who had long hair were polluting the movement. And on the other hand, there were the hippies who were looking at the SDS people going, they're just too uptight. And then there were a few of us who were kind of straddling both worlds, and in times it was uncomfortable. Your riff on this actually goes a whole lot deeper than that, so let me just toss it to you.
Well, the impetus to me for writing it was Occupy Wall Street and the way a lot of the left pundits, columnists, and people on the TV shows have been talking about it. Because I think, like a lot of your listeners and like you, it's so exciting to me to see the Occupy Wall Street movement growing because it's just changed the conversation in a way that we desperately have needed for years. And the truth is that people like you and a lot of our friends have been talking about wealth disparity for, certainly all the labor unions have been, and some of the great progressive economists, for years and years and years. But there's been like a glass wall that stopped it from reaching the minds of the majority of Americans. Most Americans aren't listening to your show or reading The Nation or Dissent magazine, where I wrote my piece, and that's the website that it's on if anyone wants to read it. And somehow this movement, which is very fragile, has been able to penetrate into the mass consciousness. And a lot of the people on the left kept making fun of what the drum circles. That was sort of, right. It was as if to be intellectually respected, in the political world. And I'm talking about the left now, not the mainstream media. You had to make fun of the drum circles and the free hugs and disparage the notion of hippies. And I just observed that these hippies, if that's what you want to call them, the sort of the spiritual component of this movement is what came up with a phrase like "we are the 99%." Our intellectual brothers and sisters have not come up with a slogan that captured the imagination of people like that. And I think it's really important to respect that spiritual, if you want to call it hippie component of it, because it touches people's hearts and souls in a way that op-ed pieces and position papers don't always do. And it reminded me of the same mistake that was made in the late 60s by a lot of the radicals to condescend to or look down on people that they considered to be hippies. And the truth is, as I said, the Grateful Dead ended up reaching a lot more people than the hippies ever did.
Yeah. And or SDS for that matter, and so did George Harrison, as you point out. Although he had his own internal contradictions, but the Beatles.
He did, but he was basically a force for good.
Yeah.
You're not going to get party lines or precise agreement on position papers from the worlds of either art or spirituality. But if you get a general set of values, which is that we're all equal in God's eyes, and that public policy has to reflect that, and a public policy that creates more and more disparity of wealth, and a smaller and smaller fraction of people who are benefiting from policies and the systems is therefore immoral. That's an extremely useful set of values to be out there for progressive activists.
Danny, Albert Einstein famously said, or perhaps apocryphally said, I don't know, but religion without science is blind. Science without religion is what was the word he used? Soulless. I forget.
Man, you're the one with these quotes. I don't know.
Well, in any case,
whatever it is, it's you need both.
Yeah, and it wasn't actually. He didn't say. Yeah.
And as a practical matter, you need both, because if you don't get public opinion aroused, of course the Democratic politicians are going to go where the money is.
Right.
They're politicians. If you get public opinion aroused, you have a chance of changing the equation.
And you point out in this article so brilliantly how on the right, the Republicans embrace the religious component within their base.
They do, whether it's people like the evangelicals or whether it's sort of these radical people like Ayn Rand followers, which is really another set of values. I think it's a fundamentally evil set of values, what I call the cult of selfishness and, social Darwinism. But, Paul Ryan openly says he's a devotee of Ayn Rand. Alan Greenspan, the former head of the Fed, was a personal disciple of hers. And you'll never hear them bad-mouthing these people. Glenn Beck tries to infuse what he's doing with the spiritual, because people want to feel that what they're doing is good. They're not only motivated by self-interest. Self-interest is part of it, but it's just simply not true to say that that's the only thing that motivates people's political opinions. And the successful movements arouse a sense of idealism and altruism while also understanding people's self-interest. And the right wing has, I think in an evil but very successful way, understood that, and you'll never see them condescending to the spiritual components of their movement, even when they have really crazy people involved. Like
I don't think that the left wing.
Thing.
I don't think the left wing has yet acknowledged, at least the professional political analyst, as you point out, has even understands that the hippies, or whatever they're called today, the drum circles, are a spiritual component. We have 1 minute. Left.
You just have to try to observe the reality that they've reached people's hearts and souls in a way that the op-ed pieces couldn't. And we need both. We need legislators. We need policy analysts. But, what the policy people should be doing every day now is coming up with things that are for the 99%.
Yeah.
It's not the job of those people in the park to do that. It's our job to say, get rid of the bankruptcy bill.
And fairness is a spiritual value, if I may interject. Yeah. And you had this great quote from Martin Luther King. You want to share it?
Well, there was a famous rivalry in the civil rights movement between the old line groups like the NAACP and Dr. King. And Roy Wilkins, the head of the NAACP, mocked King once after the March on Washington, said, "How many laws did you pass, Martin? How many laws did you change?" And King said, "None, Roy, but I think we changed a lot of hearts."
There you go.
And
that's
the truth
word.
It takes both.
Danny Goldberg, you can read his piece. Hang on just a second.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
You can read his piece over at Dissent Magazine on their website. It's titled, "Don't Diss the Drum Circles." Danny, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Great talking with you.